Today we're talking about one of the strangest failures in Disney World history. A ride that was so scary it did not fit Magic Kingdom, and when Disney tried to fix it by adding Stitch, one of their most popular characters ever, it still didn't work. And if you haven't figured it out already, the ride that we're talking about was Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter, and later became Stitch's Great Escape. And somehow both versions struggled very badly, and even in 2026, the building that these rides once belonged to is still completely empty in Tomorrowland. So what went wrong? Well, let's break it down. So back in the early 1990s, Disney was trying new things in their parks. And this was during the Michael Eisner era, when Disney was more willing to take creative risks. For instance, Epcot had some darker rides, Hollywood Studios leaned into action and intensity, so then Disney was basically thinking, maybe we don't always have to play it safe. Well, this definitely backfired at some point, because Magic Kingdom, though, was still very traditional. The building that would become Alien Encounter used to house Mission to Mars, and when that closed in 1993, Disney had this big circular theater sitting empty in Tomorrowland. And of course, instead of tearing it down, they decided to turn it into something completely different. They even briefly considered using the Alien movie franchise. That obviously did not happen, but it shows how bold they were really thinking. So instead they created their own sci-fi story, as guests were then invited into a teleportation demo. And of course, as you would expect, everything goes wrong. But not just for the ride, it went wrong in many different ways. But what was the issue with this ride? Well, it was incredibly scary, especially for kids. Now, of course, it wasn't a roller coaster, it didn't move at all, you just sat in a theater, and yet it still horrified tons of fans. It was very intense because of the atmosphere and how personal it felt. Guests sat in a circle facing inward, shoulder restraints locked down over you, and once it started, you were fully committed and pretty much stuck. The pre-show introduced a smaller alien named Skippy, and that moment already felt a little off when the demonstration didn't go perfectly. You could definitely tell that something wasn't right. And then, the bigger alien was teleported in. The lights went out, and from that point on, the experience relied almost entirely on what you could hear and feel. Because Disney used advanced surround sound, so it felt like the alien was moving around the room in real time. Not just left and right, but above you, behind you, inches from your ear. You'd feel bursts of air behind your neck like something was breathing on you. At one point, the shoulder restraints would press down slightly, which made it feel like the creature was physically interacting with you. And there was also a moment where another character in the room is attacked, and you only hear what's happening. You hear the struggle, you hear the chaos, but you never see it clearly because, well, you can't really see anything. And that's what made it so effective and just so scary. Your brain filled in everything. It wasn't about jump scares, it was about tension. It was about literally being stuck in the dark and not knowing where the creature was. For adults and teens, it was pretty impressive. It felt bold, it felt different from anything else in Magic Kingdom, but for younger kids, which is what Magic Kingdom is mainly meant for, especially ones who didn't expect that level of intensity, it could be very overwhelming. And that gap in reactions is what eventually became the problem. This is simply just not a ride that really fit the park of Magic Kingdom. Now, even though there were plenty of warning signs outside, many families didn't expect something that intense inside this park. I mean, kids would leave crying, parents would complain, and I understand a lot of you are probably going to argue that if the ride was so scary, why did some of these parents bring their little children on this ride? Well, I mean, if it's your first time at Disney World, a lot of people just might not have known that this ride was so intense and so scary. For instance, you might have just gotten off Teacups or maybe Dumbo, and then you want to take your kids to Tomorrowland, check out what they have there, and then you're like, oh, there's a cool alien ride, let's check this out. And maybe you're so excited that you walk right past the warning signs that are probably right in front of the ride. But unfortunately for these parents, if you missed one of these signs, then it came with the cost of your kid being completely traumatized after. And simply because of that, you understand why Disney had to make a change with this ride. But here's what's interesting. After it closed, people started talking about it much differently. Alien Encounter became kind of legendary. Some Disney fans look back at it as this bold experiment that the parks would probably never try again. It went from controversial to iconic. And whether you loved it or hated it, it's definitely one of the few Magic Kingdom attractions that people still debate decades later. And that kind of legacy doesn't really happen by accident. Obviously, it was very unique in many ways, because it's a ride that you would just never expect to be at a park like Magic Kingdom. Because Magic Kingdom is built around families, and Alien Encounter consistently made part of that audience uncomfortable. Now, put Alien Encounter at Hollywood Studios, and maybe we have a different outcome, especially if they use the actual IP of Alien, which they obviously used in the Great Movie Ride. I mean, that would have been absolutely awesome. But it wasn't so awesome at Magic Kingdom, and instead of tearing down the building, Disney just tried to fix it. So in 2004, They reopened it as Stitch's Great Escape. On paper, this change made perfect sense. Stitch was and still is extremely popular. Lilo and Stitch was a huge hit, the character sold tons of merchandise, and he fit the sci-fi setting as well. Disney also kept the same circular theater and the same restraint system, they just simply changed the story. With this version, Stitch now escapes from containment and causes chaos in the room. The tone shifted from extremely scary to funny, but overall the idea was very simple. Take something controversial, add a beloved character, lighten the tone, problem solved, except it wasn't. And this is the part that surprises a lot of people. So for Disney, a Stitch attraction inside Magic Kingdom should have been a very safe bet. And in my opinion, the ride wasn't bad by any means or the theming. There were genuinely some really good parts. The pre-show setup with the Galactic Federation worked very well. Stitch breaking out of containment was fun the first time you saw it. The animatronic for Stitch was very impressive throughout the ride, especially for the time. He acted just as we would expect him to. His personality came through very clearly. The voice performance was very strong, and if you were already a Stitch fan, which a lot of you probably are, including myself, there were a lot of moments that felt very accurate to his character, and the effects were technically impressive. For example, the tube that Stitch was in was very accurate to the movie, also the turrets that would shoot at him, they were all very nice touches to this ride. So the problem wasn't Stitch, it wasn't the effort that Disney put into this new retheme because honestly it was pretty good. Instead, the problem was the structure. Because when you sat down, the experience still felt very similar to the alien encounter physically. And that was one of the biggest issues with this ride. And with Stitch's Great Escape, they kept it the exact same. Instead of changing some of those aspects that a lot of fans before didn't like, you were still seated in this circular chamber, the shoulder restraints came down over you, and once the show started, you were locked in completely, which was a feeling that a lot of people did not like with Alien Encounter. Now, even though the tone was now comedic, the environment still had some of the same intensity built into it. The room would still go dark, Stitch's voice would move around the chamber using surround sound, there was sudden noises, air blasts behind your neck. At one point the restraints were pressed down slightly, but now imagine being a younger kid in that situation. Even if Stitch was supposed to be funny, being strapped into a seat in a dark room while something jumps around you can definitely feel overwhelming for a lot of people. So it wasn't Alien Encounter level scary, but it still definitely wasn't comfortable either. Some kids still found it intimidating, not traumatizing, but definitely uncomfortable and probably a ride that they wouldn't want to do again for maybe a couple years. So instead of being too scary, the ride ended up in this middle space. For older guests and teens, it didn't feel thrilling enough, even though there was still probably a good group of people that still loved it for the Stitch theming, including my family. But for younger guests, it wasn't completely relaxing either. That's a hard balance to maintain in a park like Magic Kingdom. Now, the ride wasn't terrible for kids, there were still a lot of fun parts to this. There was the big chili dog scene that everybody remembers, when Stitch burped and then the smell filled the theater. It was horrible, and some guests thought it was very hilarious. It was a fun scene. It became memorable, but not necessarily in a way that made people want to ride again. Well, now that I think of it, there was probably a small group of kids that wanted to go back and do this ride for that scene, which is kind of heartwarming to me. But considering your most memorable part of your ride is a burp scene, that's probably not great. And that's where one of the biggest issues showed up, and that's rewritability. Once you experienced it once, there really wasn't a big reason to go back unless you're a big Stitch fan. Now, outside of the Stitch animatronic, it didn't really have major visual spectacles, it didn't really have a thrilling payoff, and it didn't really have that emotional moment that makes you say, oh my gosh, we should totally go ride that again, like you get in a lot of different rides that are actually good. Instead, it just became one of those rides that you did when the wait time was very short. And if I remember correctly, it typically was. And some of that reason is because a lot of people just didn't do this ride. For me, I actually did like this ride as a kid. I've said this before on the channel. I love Tomorrowland. I love any ride that is there. So it's very nostalgic to me, and I really enjoyed this ride a long time ago. And I know it had a lot of issues, there's no doubting that, but I really do think that this ride fit very well in Tomorrowland. And I honestly wish that they would bring this ride back because I actually did love it when I was little. But it's safe to say it wasn't terrible, it just never became essential. Now, what makes this story interesting is that Stitch didn't crash and burn overnight, of course. It just slowly lost momentum. In the late to mid 2000s, wait times weren't terrible, but they weren't impressive either. It wasn't a must-do. It wasn't a rope drop attraction, and it definitely wasn't something that people would build their day around. And by the mid-2010s, Disney made a quiet but important move. They shifted it to seasonal operation. And when a ride goes seasonal, that usually means Disney is testing whether it's worth running full time. So it usually means that Disney is deciding if enough people are riding it to keep it open every single day. And the fact that Stitch didn't ever return to full daily operation explains a lot. And then in January of 2018, it closed for good. Not for refurbishment, not temporarily, just closed. And later that year, it was officially confirmed as permanently closed. And what's interesting is how quiet the closure was. There was no emotional farewell like a lot of rides get, and no final celebration of the attraction's history. It almost felt like Disney was just completely done with this attraction because, well, its history wasn't great. But it's just kind of odd how it ended. It ended with very little noise, which almost fits the way it faded in the first place, honestly. It was just a very weird situation overall, and it gets even weirder because Magic Kingdom or any of the Disney World parks usually don't leave large ride buildings sitting unused for years, and that's no surprise because space is extremely valuable, especially in a theme park. And foot traffic in Tomorrowland is constant, and if something closes in that park, you usually see construction walls pretty quickly, and for some reason that has not happened here. As of 2026, the building has been used for temporary meet and greets and limited experiences, but the main circular theater has not returned as a permanent attraction for anything, and that's rare. Part of the issue is probably structural. That circular seating layout with built-in shoulder restraints was designed for a very specific type of show, so converting it into something modern like a trackless ride or a dynamic dark ride would require scrapping most of the interior and just causing a lot of work. And at that point, Disney had to decide if it's worth rebuilding from scratch. Also, with another factor is timing. Over the past several years, Disney has invested heavily in major projects like Tron Light Cycle Run, which of course is also in Tomorrowland, so it's not like Disney is completely done with Tomorrowland or any expansions there. They're constantly adding refurbishments, repainting stuff, all of that. Now, compared to those headline projects, completely gutting this old theater may not really rank as urgent as other projects in Tomorrowland or just in general for Magic Kingdom. So as of now, there is no official permanent plan announced for that theater, which leaves it in a very strange position because it's not abandoned, it's not under construction, it's just completely paused or maybe frozen in time. And that's what's interesting, is that this isn't just a random closed attraction that people forgot about. Fans still bring this building up all the time because it's one of the first buildings that you see when you walk into Tomorrowland. So obviously people are going to talk about this all the time. And if you watch park history videos, scroll through Disney forums, or even just walk through Tomorrowland and listen to people talking, you'll hear questions like, oh, what used to be in there? Why haven't they replaced it yet? Are they ever going to do something with it? So it's just a very interesting situation because this one just feels so unfinished. And part of that is because the building itself is still clearly there. I mean, you can still see the entrance area, the structure, the Galactic Federation logo, and the footprint of where the attraction used to operate. It reminds guests that something used to exist there, and part of it is because the story of this ride is just very unusual. You had one of the scariest attractions Disney ever built, then it was replaced by a Stitch attraction that somehow still didn't work long term, and now the space has just been sitting there for years without a permanent replacement. And that combination definitely keeps people curious, and honestly that's kind of cool because it's a very interesting thing to talk about among friends, family, whatever, because nobody really knows the full story and nobody knows what's going to happen. Now, because the building has been sitting there for so long, fans have spent years guessing what Disney might eventually put there, and there have been plenty of rumors over time, but nothing official has ever been confirmed. One idea people talked about for years was using the space for a Wreck-It Ralph attraction. The idea made some sense. It's a futuristic IP, kind of fits Tomorrowland in the arcade theme, could have probably worked well with the technology style setting. Another rumor that popped up for a while was a Monsters Inc. themed attraction, possibly something based around the Laugh Floor characters, or the Monsters universe expanding in Tomorrowland, considering Laugh Floor is right next to where Stitch's Great Escape was. Either one of these could have been pretty cool for sure, but then there's the biggest possibility, and that's that Disney might just not replace it individually at all. Some fans believe that Disney could be waiting until they eventually redo more of Tomorrowland as a whole, and that the building might just become part of a larger expansion or redesign that happens in the future. But as of now, none of those ideas have been officially announced, which means the building still sits there as one of the few pieces in Magic Kingdom where the future is completely unknown, which creates quite the mystery about this ride. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. When you zoom out, the story isn't really about a scary ride, and it's not about Stitch failing. It's about how hard it is to balance tone, audience, and structure inside a theme park, especially inside Magic Kingdom. Alien Encounter pushed the boundary way too far for that park's core audience. Stitch tried to completely switch the vibe without changing the physical structure, and once the physical structure limited what the experience could become, there was not an easy fix. And that's what makes this one of the more fascinating chapters in Disney World history. And it shows that even Disney, a company known for planning and precision, sometimes experiments in ways that just don't fully land. And sometimes the result isn't a dramatic failure. For me, I really respect Disney for taking one of these big risks, starting with extraterrestrial, and then once it didn't work, you try and add a beloved character to try and fix the attraction. And unfortunately, it didn't work, but you've got to respect Disney for trying. I feel like this was honestly a very smart move, but not everything always works perfectly. So what do you guys think down in the comments? Do you think Alien Encounter should have stayed? Or do you think Stitch's Great Escape should have stayed? Or maybe what should Disney do with that Tomorrowland space now? Because it's been completely empty for a long time. And if you guys want more Disney deep dives like this one, make sure you guys like and subscribe for more Disney Parks content. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.